Hong Gildong is a Korean novel, often translated as The Story of Hong Gildong, written during the Joseon Dynasty.Hong Gildong. An illegitimate son of a nobleman and his lowborn concubine is the main character of the story. Gifted with supreme intelligence and supernatural abilities, he steals from rich and corrupt aristocrats, which has drawn him comparisons to famous bandits like the English folk hero Robin Hood and Australia's Ned Kelly. Historical sources point to the existence of a bandit named Hong Gildong who was arrested in 1500. However, the character's historical inspiration was the early 16th century Korean bandit and folk hero Im Kkeokjeong. Since the novel first appeared, the character of Hong Gildong has become a mainstay of Korean culture and literature. In Korea today, Hong Gildong is a common placeholder name, similar to John Doe in the United States. Charles Montgomery of the website Korean Literature in Translation explains, in Korean literature Hong Gildong is legion. He is a fixture from one of the most important early novels in Hangul. He is the first truly Korean main character. Quote, Professor Min-Soo Kang writes in the foreword to his translation, "The Story of Hong Gildong is arguably the single most important work of classic prose fiction of Korea, in terms of not only its literary achievement but also of its influence on the larger culture." Quote, NPR's Ari Shapiro explained on Fresh Air, sometimes a single character can help define a country's sense of self. Here in the U.S., you might think of Jay Gatsby in The Great Gatsby or Superman. In North and South Korea, it's Hong Gildong. Plot. Various versions of Hong Gildong exist, each including different details but following the same skeleton and timeline. The story is usually divided into 3 equal parts, each occurring in different settings. The first part is set in the residence of the Hong family. After waking from an auspicious dream, the High Minister, Hong Mo, lies with a lowborn maid, who conceives Hong Gildong. The story then shifts to Gildong's childhood where he masters his physical, mental, and magical abilities. The first part concludes with Hong Gildong stopping an assassin's attempt on his life and then leaving the Hong residence, unsatisfied with his status as a secondary son. In the second part, Hong Gildong becomes the leader of a band of outlaws whom he names Wal Bindang. Gildong and his band steal from locations where wealth is held throughout the country, like storehouse and temples. As his robberies become bolder and more frequent, he draws the attention of the king and ultimately ends up leaving the country in self-imposed exile. The third part takes place in the country of Yal. Hong Gildong starts over with the Wal Bindang at the island of Jeon and then overthrows the king of Yal to become king. He rules as a benevolent king and begins his own family at Yal, in which he treats his secondary and primary sons equally. Literary context, themes, history. Authorship of the novel is generally attributed to Heo Gyun, a radical intellectual who long dreamed of changing Korea into a fair society with less strict class hierarchies. Heo Gyun is said to be the author because of his radical ideas of political revolution, which are projected in Hong Gildong's journey from secondary son to king. It is believed Heo Gyun wrote the book during the late 16th or early 17th century. However, in recent years, emerging scholarship has contradicted previously accepted theories on the authorship of Hong Gildong. In a 2013 article in Azalea, Journal of Korean Literature and Amp Culture, Min-Soo Kang argues that the claim for Heo Gyun as author of the novel is based on flawed and biased scholarship. He proposes instead that the novel was written around the mid-19th century by an anonymous writer of secondary or commoner status. Hong Gildong is often viewed as a reflection of its time. depending on the Heo Gyun authorship model, the one that Kang proposes. This perspective differs. Kang suggests that peace and prosperity in 18th-century Korea under the rule of Young Ho and Jefo allowed for increased social mobility and literacy. This led to the development of a market for popular fiction, and Hong Gildong is exemplary of these kinds of novels. There are more than 34 existing manuscripts of Hong Gildong. Scholars are uncertain which, if any, is the original manuscript, but some evidence suggests that the Pilser 89 manuscript is the oldest surviving version. Cultural legacy. In addition to its reputation as a literary work, Hong Gildong has become widely known in Korean culture through various adaptations across different mediums. The story has inspired films, TV shows, comics, literary retellings, and video games, and continues to be frequently adapted. There is a Hong Gildong theme park in Jangseong County, traditionally thought to be the character's birthplace, and a Hong Gildong festival is held in Jangseong each year. Adaptations. Shin Dong-woo created the South Korean Hong Gildong comic books in the 1960s, creating the iconic image of the hero in a blue shirt and yellow hat. The story was adapted into a South Korean animated feature film of the same name in 1967. A South Korean animated feature film sequel named Hong Gildong Jangun followed in 1969. The South Korean 1983 animated feature film Yujunse Hong Gildong takes the character into a science fiction setting. A North Korean martial arts film, Hong Gildong, was released in 1986, in which he fights against Japanese ninjas. A South Korean action video game adaptation, Hong Gildong, was released for Sega Master System and MSX computers in 1990 by Clover. A South Korean role-playing video game, Hong Gildong was released for IBM-compatible computers in 1993 by A+. A sequel to the 1993 game, the interactive movie Hong Gildong 2, was released in 1995. Another South Korean animated feature film was released in 1995 with the title Dore on Yanung Hong Gildong, a platform game video game adaptation of the 1995 animated feature film with the same title was released by LG. The 1995 South Korean role-playing video game The Romance of Forgotten Kingdom takes place in Uledo, the country founded by Hong Gildong in the original story. The manhwa series Hong Gildong, Puram Junsa Rock Bio Shaekwon was started in 2004 and tells the story of Hong Gildong's return to Joseon in a fantasy world with cyberpunk elements. A character from Hong Gildong was also adapted in the Shinagyo Onshi manga as female bandit leader. A South Korean TV series entitled Hong Gildong, The Hero, first aired on January 2, 2008 on KBS2. A modern-day film adaptation named Descendants of Hong Gildong was made in 2009. In the 2010 musical Hong Gildong, Seungmin and Yesung of Super Junior played the historical figure. It played at the Woori Financial Art Hall at the Olympic Park from February 18 to April 18, 2010. In a popular South Korean TV series on Seoul Broadcasting System called Running Man, Ha played Ha Gildong in a special episode of Superheroes, broadcast on October 12, 2014. A comic action thriller, Phantom Detective, depicts a modern-day Hong Gildong as a detective. English language translations. The Story of Hong Gildong, translated by Min-Soo Kang. New York, Penguin, 2016. Based on the Pilser 89 manuscript. The Story of Hong Gildong, Seoul, The Korean Classical Literature Institute, 2000. Bilingual edition based on the Jeongpan 30 manuscript. The Tale of Hong Gildong, quote, translated by Marshall R. Pihl, in Anthology of Korean Literature, From Early Times to the 19th Century, compiled and edited by Peter H. Lee, Honolulu, The University Press of Hawaii, 1981. Based on the Jeong 24 manuscript, Hong Gildong, The Adventures of an Abused Boy, translated by Horace Allen Newton. In Korean Tales, being a collection of stories translated from the Korean folklore. New York, G. P. Putnam's Sons, 1889. 170-93. Loosely translated, verging on a retelling.